past 5 years, the graduation rate for Mexican engineers has more than tripled, outpacing any other country in the world. That from Britain's Royal Academy of Engineers. One math teacher here in Nogales, Sonora told me Mexicans love math.
Orale, I'm a tough guy. Tough guys don't do math. Tough guys deep fried chicken for a living. Pues orale, you want a wing or a leg, man?
In the 1988 movie, Stand and Deliver, Edward James Olmos portrays the true story of high school math teacher Jaime Escalante in East LA's Garfield High. Escalante takes a failing group of Mexican and first-generation Mexican-American students into the world of calculus. It is the information in this next scene that has always inspired the Mexican passion for math.
Did you know that neither the Greeks nor the Romans were capable of using the concept of zero? It was your ancestors, the Mayas, who first contemplated the zero, the absence of value. True story. You burros have math in your blood.
Now, while many civilizations lay claim to discovering zero, the fact remains that the Mayan civilization figured out the concept of zero 1,000 years before the Europeans did. The accuracy of their 365-day calendars baffled astronomers. Mayan astronomers also accurately tracked the sun and the moon and the planets. And it was this ancient culture that by 700 years before the birth of Christ had invented a writing system, and they published thousands of books. Fast forward to 2006, to the Mexican presidency of Felipe Calderon.
Mexico is a young country, but a very old nation. Our roots go back thousands of years.
An intellectual who earned 2 master's degrees, one from Harvard University. It was his vision that Mexico would build on its ancient connection to math to one day become a modern country of engineers. Under the leadership of President Calderon, between 2006 and 2012, the Mexican government built 140 new universities. 120 of them were primarily aimed at science and engineering. The challenge was on: make math a priority in Mexican schools. During the Calderon presidency around 2009 in Guaymas, Sonora, an unknown Mexican engineer accepted the challenge of his president.
Eso es parte de lo que viene haciendo la plataforma tecnológica.
Nayum Correa developed an innovative way called MetroMatematicas to train poorly educated maquiladora workers. Now, maquiladoras are foreign companies that manufacture in Mexico. Correa trained workers to embrace mathematical concepts that would help them advance to help the company keep pace with a demand for engineering skilled workers. He taught them how math works in the real world. Traditional math books were tossed. Instead, Correa taught workers how math played into their everyday jobs. By 2010, Correa was making the rounds of Mexican media. He moved quickly from teaching high-level math to poorly educated maquila workers to students in middle schools. His math methods of teaching 12-year-olds started in 3 Guaymas middle schools. The results, say educators, were astounding. Students who had previously failed simple math classes were doing algebra, trigonometry, and calculus. And in 2014, MetroMatematicas caught the attention of the superintendent of the Santa Cruz Valley United School District in southern Arizona. This actually was developed by a Mexican engineer down in Guaymas, and then it made its way to the U.S. Did you take some convincing once you learned what it was all about? Because it's not a simple system to put into place.
Yeah. Initially, but with our district, we're so close to the border. So anytime that there's an opportunity for us to have some collaboration with the industry close to our area, it's important for us to take a look at that. And so even though it was a Mexican math per se, it didn't deter us from taking a look at what the program was, because I was more interested in what the program was, not where it was coming from.
A retired Raytheon engineer would become one of the first MetroMatematicas teachers outside of Mexico.
My name is Tom Maddock, and I am teaching MetroMatematicas at Rio Rico High School. Okay, so go ahead and take your measurements on the coordinate measuring machine. Measure in millimeters. Use the requirements for Theorem 2 to take your measurements. MetroMatematicas is, in my terms, sneaky math. We teach math backwards. We go from real-world things that we can measure, and then we go backwards and figure out the math that created the real-world thing.
MetroMatemáticas has transformed classrooms into laboratories where each student is assigned a lab coat, and they get to work not from a whiteboard, but using real equipment. This is a metrology lab. Metrology is the science of weighing and measuring.
It is a very special place, especially when you think of going back to Raytheon. If this shows up and Raytheon looks at it, they're going to look at this metrology lab and they're going to go like, our lab isn't even that nice.
My name is Brianna Dominguez, a freshman at Rio Rico High School. When I first walked into this class, I was nervous because I thought it was going to be challenging. The things he said, it was confusing first.
My name is Aiden Solis, and I am a 9th grader at Rio Rico High School. When I first walked into the classroom, I was a little nervous, not sure if I could handle all the materials and tools we would use. I used to do math with just problems with the teacher explaining them on the whiteboard, and then we would practice them on the worksheet. Now here, we use tools and different formulas for everything.
Aiden has kind of blossomed. I think he really gets the class. He doesn't, when I throw a curveball, when I change something or I want them to think critically, it doesn't panic him. He just sits there and rolls with the concept and then thinks about it for a while and has that aha moment. What do you think, Aiden?
Between 19 and 20, it's just 5 away.
It's going to help me out in the future because I'm thinking about getting a career related to, science, technology, engineering, or math. And that's what this class is about, this program.
Brianna is, I think, at that point in her life where I think she really wants to, and she's really smart about math and science, but it may not be cool for a girl to be good at those things. But this class lets her do it.
Is it working? I think in the end, that's what parents, that's what funders, that's what the educational system wants to know. Is it working?
Yes, we just received our last AZ merit scores, and the students that were in the applied mathematics, the MetroMatematicas program, actually scored higher than our other math students. And we're trying to figure out if that was because they essentially had 2 math classes, but we feel that the actual lab portion of it, of applying what they're learning in the classroom, is really getting them to learn math, because you can learn all you want, pencil, paper, but when you actually have to now apply it to a real life problem, we think that's the approach that is really going to help our students grow and continue to be successful.
This class is pretty radical when you sit back and you look at a traditional math class.
MetroMatemáticas, radical? Maybe. Innovative? Absolutely.